Isaiah, keys to the Book of Mormon. About that, the Book of Mormon has keys to Isaiah, but Isaiah itself is a key to the Book of Mormon. The book of Isaiah is an end-time prophecy. We read that before, but I want to read it again from Isaiah 30, verse 8. Go now, write on tablets concerning them, or plates, record it in a book for the end time as a testimony forever. The book of Isaiah is specifically intended for the end time. Of course, we read all these historical parts, nearly all historical in Isaiah, but when we understand that as an allegory of the end time, then these names that we read about become code names of people and nations and persons in the end time. Isaiah 1, verse 4, one of the very first events, very sadly, that I discussed a little bit last time, is that Jehovah's end time people apostatize. It's the apostasy of God's people who are God's people today, which is us. Not the Jews, not the 10 tribes, not the Lamanites, not natural lineages of the house of Israel, us today. And we are the covenant people that Isaiah is speaking to in chapter 1, the preface, as I mentioned before. We are the Israel of today. Just transpose the names to, from Jerusalem and Israel to Salt Lake City, let's say, and Latter-day Saints in general. This transposition of names is the key to what Isaiah is telling us today. So this apostasy of God's people sets in motion the chain of events that Isaiah and the Book of Mormon are talking about. And so from there it goes on to all the other events that Isaiah and the Book of Mormon prophets have predicted. They're still basically from the Book of Isaiah. Whenever Book of Mormon prophets prophesy anything of the future, the end time, it's always taken from Isaiah. They always start off with Isaiah, using the book of Isaiah and his prophecies as a basis for what they're going to talk about. And they'll expand upon it, they'll interpret it, they'll nuance it. But Isaiah is the basis of what they, Nephi, Jacob, Jesus, others in the Book of Mormon talk about. How about that? That these prophecies of Isaiah are so important that even Jesus himself, instead of giving his own spiel and prophecies, starts quoting Isaiah and other prophets, but mostly Isaiah. That has to tell us something, right? So let's make that our priority as well. And then we'll be in good shape. We'll know why the Lord requires it of us. So here is from Isaiah chapter 1, verse 4. Alas, a nation astray, a people weighed down by sin, the offspring of wrongdoers, perverse children. They have forsaken Jehovah. They have spurned the Holy One of Israel. They've lapsed into apostasy. They've gone backwards, the King James translation says. Gone away backwards. They've fallen away. But they've done it over several generations. But now, especially the latest generation, are going that way at a faster rate than ever before. And that's when the Lord brings his judgments to bear upon his people and upon the world. When they ripen in iniquity, when the iniquity of a people is full, when their dysfunctional patterns are so set in that the rising generation has little or no way by itself of rising above it, or getting out of it, then the Lord makes an end of it. He brings on his judgments and cleans up everybody. It's a mercy at that point to destroy them before they commit more evil. Jehovah's end-time people resemble Sodom, Isaiah chapter 3, verse 9. Right, it gets that bad. Even in chapter 1, God's people and their leaders are mentioned as Sodom and Gomorrah. The look on their faces betrays them. They flaunt their sin like Sodom. They cannot hide it. Woe to their souls, they brought disaster upon themselves. Now, woe is a curse, a covenant curse. Now, they're flaunting their sin like Sodom because it's out in the open and are so adamant that their way is good. And Isaiah says, black is called white and white is black, and sweet is called bitter and the bitter is called sweet. Everything is topsy-turvy. And this is the time we're talking about. This is the time Isaiah is talking about.